We often find ourselves entangled in a societal web that measures worth and success by superficial standards, particularly when it comes to relationships. How often do we search for validation in others, for completion in the embrace of another, without truly understanding the depths of our own potential? This isn't a discourse on dismissing companionship or love. Those are intrinsically human pursuits, but rather an exploration of self-sovereignty within the chaos of social expectation. It's a narrative about rediscovering and cultivating your internal world, guided by the ancient wisdom of the Stoics, to unleash an inner power unfettered by external validation. The teachings of Stoicism offer a profound lens through which to view this struggle. Grounded in the notion that the only things truly within our control are our thoughts, intentions, and reactions, this philosophy invites us to turn inward and examine the workings of our own minds. Imagine walking through your daily life with a sense of peace and purpose, unshaken by the turbulence of relationships and the expectations of others. It is here, in this realm of self-mastery, that true freedom lies. Allow us to embark on this thoughtful journey, shedding the burdens of societal pressures and exploring the transformative power of Stoic philosophy. Together, we will uncover the path to becoming architects of our own destinies, masters of our own minds, and ultimately warriors of inner calm. The concept of wasting time on women is less about women themselves and more about the often misdirected focus on external validation through relationships. The Stoic way encourages a shift from this focus to an internal exploration of character, intentions, and personal growth. But how does this transition manifest in real life? How do we balance relationships with our own journey of Stoic discovery? To begin unraveling this mystery, consider some pillars of Stoicism: control, perception, and action. Each of these elements serves as a cornerstone for empowering oneself, not just in the context of romantic relationships, but in all life's dimensions. First, let's delve into the idea of control, a central tenet of Stoic philosophy as articulated by Epictetus. This is the understanding that true control starts and ends with our internal state. What we perceive and how we choose to react is fundamentally the essence of power. In moments of conflict or emotional turmoil, whether originating from relationships or personal challenges, we gain clarity by seeking control through introspection and discernment. It's said that the mind is a citadel, invulnerable to the chaos without, provided it rests on the firm foundation of principle and reason. Picture the scenario where a carefully nurtured bond turns strained. The typical reaction may involve panic, self-blame, or attempts to control the other person. A Stoic response, however, acknowledges the line between what can be changed, your own actions, responses, and what cannot. Choosing to focus on improving oneself, rather than succumbing to the desire to control the uncontrollable, liberates us from endless cycles of disappointment. Consider Marcus Aurelius, often faced with the tumultuous demands of ruling an empire. His meditations reveal a mind consistently oriented towards the importance of empathy and understanding, not to control others, but to influence through the strength of one's character. Marcus's reflections remind us that it's not the pursuit of another's loyalty or affection that builds a meaningful life, but the cultivation of patience, resilience, and wisdom. Such attributes invite deeper interactions and relationships blossoming from shared ideals rather than necessity. Transitioning into the second pillar, perception, reminds us of the story told by Seneca about the sailors. Perception can be likened to a vessel navigating treacherous waters. Stoic teachings insist that it is not the unsettling sea that defines the sailor, but how he perceives and chooses to navigate it. Are we, in our search for fulfillment through external sources, mistaking the stormy sea of societal pressures for the entirety of life? Do we let the turbulence dictate our journey, Or do we steer it with the calm assurance derived from introspective clarity? An intriguing element of Stoicism is this power to reshape perception, to frame each event not in terms of disruption, but as an opportunity for building resilience and learning. Imagine each emotional encounter, each moment of yearning for validation, approached not with desperation but with curiosity. Rather than seeking wholeness in another person, why not seek it within ourselves first? Each day becomes a training ground for perspective, conditioning us to see beyond the surface, into the depths of personal potential and peace. Anecdotes abound in Stoic literature of individuals subjected to hardship and turmoil, who through perspective reframed adversity into inspiration for themselves and those around them. Whether it was the shackled Epictetus who spoke of freedom, or the politically besieged Seneca who found solace in philosophy, these examples reinforce the power of personal interpretation over external events. This leads us to the final pillar, action. Stoicism is at its core a philosophy of deeds. It calls for intentional living grounded in virtue and reason. Often in relationships, action can be mistakenly oriented towards control, manipulating conditions to ensure outcomes that serve self-esteem or desire. Under Stoic guidance, however, action transforms into authentic engagement with purpose at its heart. We are encouraged to align our actions with intrinsic values rather than reactionary impulses. Such alignment is not only transformative for oneself, but has a profound ripple effect on those around us. The question then arises, how might our daily actions reflect a commitment to inner authenticity over the pursuit of external validation? One might start with small steps, choosing patience over reaction in discussions, seeking clarity in communication, and establishing boundaries that respect both oneself and one's partner. Understanding that authentic actions reflect an empowered self opens avenues for relationships based not on dependency but mutual growth and respect. As in the teachings of Zeno, whose quiet Stoic influence founded a movement not by force, but by the sheer virtue of exemplary character and deed, we too can inspire through action. In re-examining how we spend our time, particularly in relationships, we are invited to embrace spaces where intentionality and introspection converge. Our task is not to eschew the value of human connection, but to redefine its purpose through a Stoic lens, one that values depth, personal growth, and inner peace over shallow affirmation. Returning now to our own lives, where do we find moments that beg for Stoic intervention? How might these treasures of ancient wisdom guide and inspire us towards a centered and fulfilling existence? Recognizing time as our most precious resource compels us to treasure it, directing our energies towards endeavors that enrich rather than deplete. Consider relationships as partnerships in growth, intricately woven into our life's journey, not as endpoints but stepping stones. Every encounter, every interaction offers the potential to align more closely with our truest selves, revealing a path lit by the inner glow of Stoic power within. Embracing this path does not mean isolation, but rather an evolved understanding of engagement. The relationships we foster, when infused with the principles of control, perception, and action, turn from potential distractions into mutual sources of wisdom and strength. We find roles not of dependency but empowered partnership, seeking partners who walk alongside rather than stand before or follow behind. Together, these relationships sculpt us, mold us, each interaction chipping away at what is unnecessary, revealing the masterpiece within. A Stoic life is neither fleeting nor hurried. It's a slow, mindful trek, a winding journey towards self-mastery and shared authenticity. May our reflections guide us onwards, allowing the wisdom of the ages to illuminate our path, encouraging hearts ablaze with the calm power of a true and noble spirit. And so the age-old question remains, how will you in this moment begin to turn inward, harnessing the Stoic power within, while navigating the intricate dance of relationships and life's myriad demands. As we ponder this, let the journey continue, the story unfold, and the wisdom evolve within the silent, commanding truth of the Stoic heart.